One of the most lavish and theatrical bands to emerge on the French music scene during the 1970s was Ange. And in 1974, they released their third album,
Au-delà du Délire,
which translates to Beyond the Delirium. And from that, the track
Les Longues Nuits d'Isaac.
Isaac's Long Nights. Starting with the windy sequence here. Now that's a very trademark sound of theirs, that kind of sustained fuzz that sounds like, almost kind of like, I can't quite tell if it's a guitar or a bass. I guess it's like fuzz bass because the guitar has a very different, that's definitely a guitar, a lead sound. A lot of their songs begin that way. Like the opening track on their 1976 album immediately comes to mind. This like chromatic figure that starting in D minor pretty much frames the piece, going kind of down. Yeah. D, flat, C, D, like that. That's pretty much the piece, the frame of the piece. Oh, here all just the emotion and just brimming intensity and just flare up that vocalist Christian Decamps puts into this piece. Oh, such a plateau right there, key-wise. Yeah, and just appreciate the kind of like frosty, dark, smoldering. Well, kind of like basically very, very smoking, hot, just brimming, dark, sonic underbed of guitar and bass, and then the kind of like icier sounds above, like in the keyboards and the mellotron.
Oh, nuit, toi qui m'enveloppes de ton étoffe en pluie d'argent. Oh, nuit, toi qui m'emportes loin des cratères béants.
Yeah, now we got some like sumptuous acoustic strings plucking amid some bass. Let's catch up with the lyrics here. Blood of your fathers, adultery and turmoil, attach your earth to the flesh of your fingers, blood of your fathers, adultery and turmoil, tear your land from the false king's greenhouse. Yeah, dealing with ancient strife, I would imagine. O night, you who envelope me with your stuff in silver night, O night, you who take me away from the gaping craters, O night, you who dream me on a paper ruby strike, O night, you who force me to hold the last cry.
Oh nuit, toi qui me rêves.
Oh nuit, yeah.
Sur une grève papier rubis. Oh nuit, toi qui me forces à retenir le dernier cri.
Oh, now a really icy sound coming out.
As-tu vu l'homme au chapeau pointu qui tisse de ses yeux le drame universel?
These kind of soliloquies are another characteristic of the band. Yeah, kind of whispering, breaking, narrative, like omniscient moments, I guess, breaking the fourth wall. Hear the melody being recapped right there on the mellotron. All those fade-in cymbals. Okay, let's meet some of our other people on here. Michel Brezovar plays Fender Stratocaster electric guitar, Fender 12-string guitar, mandolin, flute, and vocals. Yeah, we just heard some of his mandolin work right there. And Daniel Haas plays a Rickenbacker bass and classical guitar. Interesting. I didn't quite notice any Rickenbacker character. Usually when I'm going to pay attention for that now. Usually I think of that instrument as being really like trebly and crisp. Kind of like like Chris Squire, Bruce Foxton, J.J. Brunel. Yeah, the bass on here is smoother, kind of more like lower in the mix. I love that one mellotron sound that's doing like the mid-range. Oh yeah, now it's going a little bit higher, creating some kind of like icy, frosty sounds. Oh, such like expression he's putting into these lyrics as his voice kind of swells up and goes from like tender to more like urgent and. Such an explosive chorus right here, and drums by Gerard Jelch, and let's see, Viscount organ, Celesta, and vocals by Francis Decamps, the vocalist's brother, and Christian Decamps, in addition to the lead vocals, is playing a Hammond organ, piano, and harpsichord. Heck, I'm not seeing the word mellotron anywhere in the credits. Am I? Could have fooled me. Yeah, just now everything's kind of like melding into one. Like the different instrumental tones are kind of like coalescing. Like you can still hear that in like the bass and the guitar, like at the lower end in the kind of foggier keyboard tones and. Actually, I guess what I was trying to characterize earlier, or the description I was looking for, it was more like smoke over molten lava, is how I would describe the mixture of sounds. And kind of like the red molten lava, kind of like in the dark, kind of like, and that kind of like white smoke billowing in the dark. It's kind of like the vibe I was getting. Yeah, that was Ange with the track
Les Longues Nuits d'Isaac.
Isaac's Long Nights from their 1974 third album.
Au-delà du Délire.
Beyond the Delirium, and quite a bit of delirium conjured up in that track. Beautiful cover to this album, very Whiteheadian, as in Paul Whitehead, the cover artist for Genesis during the early 1970s. Yeah, a guy towing the soil, or yeah, tilling the soil, and with a big castle in the background. So we got like a farmer in the foreground, and a big grand castle in the background, and a few, and apparently several moons. Yeah, we got or maybe like 6 planets actually in clear view of the sky, and the sun with the face. And then on the back cover, this back cover doesn't ring a bell to me. It's got like all this flora, fauna, and it has the same guy, the farmer, looking up to that sun, looking up to the face in the sun. Yeah, beautiful, with a big kind of orangey red sky. Yeah, beautiful. A lot to like imagine in that. Let's hear another track from the album, the side 2 penultimate instrumental track,
Fils de lumière.
Son of Light. Basically, A, G, F, E, D. Yeah.
Tu es peintre du monde, souffle ton art, vernis mon être.
Okay, I was wrong. This is an instrumental. I kind of, I guess it's mostly the instrumental portions I remembered from it. Like particularly the climaxes. Well, we'll get to that.
Prends plaisir à la ronde, des fleurs du soir, deviens le prêtre, fils de lumière, va restaurer, astre des temps.
Okay, I don't have the lyrics pulled up to this one, but yeah, it leads right into the title track. It bleeds right into it, which, funny enough, has a much more simplistic overall melody to it than this one. Yeah, this one's gonna like really like wind up and toward the end, but the final track, the melody they choose to ride the album out on, basically just goes dun 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 dun, like, yeah. What I was really saying right there is that they get rather poppy toward the end. Oh, now we got some open cadences with the drummer trying to find kind of like a pattern here, and the kind of mellotron sound, although may not be a mellotron, I don't know, just kind of brimming upward. That definitely sounds kind of like a flute string setting on a mellotron. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't recognize that bass as a Rickenbacker offhand, but then what do I know? Basically associating it with the kind of lead type bassists of the era. Chromatic ascent over D. I gotta say, their keyboard sound, which really characterizes them, it's the most prominent sound overall, fills out their sound a lot, is quite, even though like a lot of bands were doing the flute mellotron setting or the mellotron strings, this definitely has kind of a sound of its own. It's, yeah, the Ange records of this period definitely are on an island unto themselves. Once again, the guitarist here is kind of getting the Hackett treatment, you know, kind of buried in the mix, just slight ghostly kind of sustains, just that kind of peek out now and then. Kind of like the Tony Banks, Steve Hackett type dynamic, where where Banks ensured that he was like all over, like full, like on top in the mix, like just kind of drowning out Steve by and large. And
Résonne encore le clan du passé. Laisse la paille étonner. Ouvre encore de ton interdit.
I love how that bass was like sliding up and kind of gliding and guiding the key center during this section. Like, it's almost like several flutes playing at once or something. Like the harmonic quality that keyboard, that mellotron type sound is creating. Or like several flutes kind of like mixed in with sort of like a luminous synth sound. Okay, now we're getting to the big climax of the piece. Yeah, the instrumental portion. Yeah, this is one of the biggest earworms of the album for me right here. Yeah, basically D D D D D D D D D D D D D D G da da. Now the guitarist is really poking it out, really just stretching out, kind of like finding ways to just kind of like wrestle with that big, grand, lavish keyboard, and like asserting himself a bit more, and getting kind of into some kind of like dirty tones there. And I really like the pattern that the drummer has worked out for this. Yeah. Yeah. Emphasis on the third in every bar. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2. I like how he's working that hi-hat. And we're about to fade out there. Okay, yeah, that was Ange with the track
Fils de Lumière.
Son of Light, the penultimate track on their 1974 third album.
Au-delà du Délire.
Yeah, Beyond the Delirium, which bleeds right into that title track. And anyway, yeah, Ange, a very epic, very ambitious French act that released nearly an album a year between 1972 and 1978. And, well, if you count live albums anyway in that. Yeah, an album a year between 1972, 76, and then 78, 80. And then onward with an album a year up through like 1984, and pretty consistent throughout the years, and navigating a few changes with style and such. Yeah, for more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of Ange, see the directory of albums by French artists linked in the description below for red hot tracks and purples from all the Ange albums, anyway, from 1972 to 1984, thereabouts, anyway. Like and subscribe and follow me on social media and share this video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the two tracks we just heard, the layers, the instrumentation, the nuances, the tone and tones of different instruments and how they interacted with one another, and the moods and environments that they created in your imagination anyway, and observations about the lyrics if you could understand them in real time and could comment on that and what they meant, or how you interpret them anyway. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist, signing off.